Graduate School, Dr. George Flowers, Dean.
Please be seated. Welcome, doctoral graduates, to the Fall 2021 Graduate School Commencement Ceremony. As we gather here with our friends and family to celebrate your graduation, I want to take a moment to welcome you and thank the support network of people here that have helped our graduates be where they are today. It truly takes a village. So please turn to the audience and those of you graduates, if you have family and friends here, and give them a hand, because we much appreciate the support that they have done. Your time in graduate school and at Auburn has no doubt been significant to you, but it's also been a historic time for our nation and the world. The trials and tribulations surrounding the coronavirus pandemic have no doubt impacted your graduate education, but have forced us to learn to adapt, to preserve, and to overcome. Each and every one of you have emerged from this time as a stronger and more resilient scholar and researcher. The lessons we have all learned through this pandemic will continue to shape our path forward, but it is the resiliency and ability to adapt that will lead you toward greatness as you go share that Auburn spirit, a spirit that is not afraid, out into the world as you leave today. As we celebrate your achievements at this graduation ceremony, we know that a better, brighter day is ahead for us all, and our Auburn graduates will help lead the way. And you're a big part of that, folks. Just as you've overcome obstacles, Auburn has come a long way from our humble beginnings in 1856. Despite the challenges of the pandemic, you are part of the largest graduate student body in Auburn history. We have just over 5,100 graduate students that you're a part of. Yes. Today, we will be awarding 212 master's degrees and 124 doctoral degrees. We honor your dedication, your talents, and your determination in some of the most challenging times in recent history. Also, let me thank each of you. Graduate students are an absolutely essential part of Auburn programs and our three fundamental missions of research, instruction, and outreach. We're one of the few institutions during this pandemic that was able to continuous research and outreach efforts almost without pause. And this is largely due to many of you, your dedicated students and scholars that were determined to do great work despite very difficult circumstances. Thank you. I applaud you. Also, I offer my admiration. You have committed yourself to advanced studies in your chosen field. You've taken coursework, completed research, stayed up late studying, and compiled data and written on current topics in your field. You have met and worked with other graduate students and faculty in your department and perhaps outside of Auburn. You have grown as a person and a professional. And after all this, you're here now, having not just satisfied the requirements for your degree, but excelled. You're graduating and moving on to the next phase of your professional life. So finally, I salute you. It seems that each generation always has questions about the next. The older generation, we always have questions. We always wonder about the world we're leaving. We fret and worry that all of our dreams and hard work will be for naught and what will become of our world. But I look at each of you and I'm filled with hope and encouragement. You're the living examples that have been set by each of you over this time. You have demonstrated resolve and commitment against tremendous odds. George Petrie's words in the Auburn Creed provide a particularly apt description of what you have exhibited. Work, hard work, and I'm very proud of you. Graduates, you've made it. Congratulations, War Eagle. The Graduate School Student Marshal, Kyle Hine, was not able to be here today. However, I would still like to introduce him to you. Kyle is originally from Slidell, Louisiana, but now lives in Pelham, Alabama, and is receiving his Doctor of Philosophy and Biology with an emphasis in evolutionary theory. He earned his bachelor's and master's degrees in biological sciences from the University of New Orleans. His research is focused on how the behavior of mitochondria influence animal performance. He is currently a postdoctoral fellow in ocean sciences with the National Science Foundation. This position allows him to remain at Auburn for another 2 years while forming meaningful collaborations with researchers at Oregon State University. He hopes to obtain a position as a professor of evolutionary biology. Please join me in congratulating Kyle. Thank you. The Doctor of Philosophy is the highest degree awarded in the Academy of Universities. The Doctor of Nursing Practice is the highest professional practice degree awarded in that field. Part of the tradition associated with the awarding of these degrees is a special ceremony involving the presentation of a doctoral hood. Would the major professors of the doctoral candidates please escort your graduate to the stage to be hooded as Mr. Smith calls their name. A member of the graduation committee will direct you to the stage.
Dr. Lynn Holloman, hooded by Dr. Jane Keeney. Dr. Erica Stallings, hooded by Dr. Jamie Carney. Dr. Meredith Hall, hooded by Dr. Chris Clemens. Dr. Amy Pridemore, hooded by Dr. Barbara Wilder. Dr. Rachel Helms, hooded by Dr. Wilder. Dr. Veronica Hill, hooded by Dr. Wilder. Dr. Michael KIERRAN, hooded by Dr. Jack Montgomery. Dr. Benjamin Burke, hooded by Dr. Mallory Lucier Greer. Dr. MINSEOK Song, hooded by Dr. Song Yul Choi. Dr. TESSIE Williams Dowell, hooded by Dr. Elena Adarova. Dr. Yang Sun, hooded by Dr. Spencer K. Milliken. Dr. MEAZA BOGALE, hooded by Dr. Huan Huang. Dr. Kuala Muhammad E. Al-Aji, hooded by Dr. Angela Love. Dr. Bidor Rida, hooded by Dr. Love. Dr. Kyle Wasserberger, hooded by Dr. Gretchen Oliver. Dr. Jan Hume, hooded by Dr. John Morris. Dr. Stephanie Kaysen Ogletree, hooded by Dr. Paris Strong. Dr. Huan Huan, hooded by Dr. Jingyi Zhen. Dr. Haley Hallowell, hooded by Dr. Elizabeth Schwartz. Dr. Kimberly Hardin, hooded by Dr. Jill Salisbury Glennon. Dr. Saima Afroge, hooded by Dr. Mark Lyles. Dr. Sanjeev KC, hooded by Dr. Robert Jackson. Dr. Zhonggen Li, hooded by Dr. Amrat Sandachar. Dr. Mohammed Soleimani Dodoran, hooded by Dr. Shrey Shaw. Dr. Beijia Zhang, hooded by Dr. Hego Zhou. Dr. Dan Zhu, hooded by Dr. Zhou. Dr. Shuting Tian, hooded by Dr. Dongyi Zhou. Dr. Chris Hardman, hooded by Dr. Jonathan Taylor. Dr. Katie Lackey, hooded by Dr. Taylor. Dr. Melissa Adams, hooded by Dr. Leslie Cordy. Dr. Addie Buckley-Burnell, hooded by Dr. Cordy. Dr. Curtis Rowe, hooded by Dr. Cordy. Dr. Peter Traverso, hooded by Dr. David Maurer. Dr. Sunil UPRETY, hooded by Dr. MINSEOK Park. Dr. Heather Haley, hooded by Dr. Melissa Blair. Dr. Letitia DeMarchi, hooded by Dr. Veronica Agrawal. Dr. Lin Xiao Wang, hooded by Dr. Xiwen Mao. Dr. Kin Man Ping, hooded by Dr. Jin Zhong Shen. Dr. John Mustafa MUSAH, hooded by Dr. Professor Hartaska Valentina. Dr. Jingfeng Zhang, hooded by Dr. Hartaska. Dr. NISHA SEHRAWAT, hooded by Dr. Hartaska. Dr. Andrew Booker, hooded by Dr. Peggy Shippen. Dr. Danny O's, hooded by Dr. Vanessa Hinton. Dr. Abdullah Abubakar, hooded by Dr. Woods Groves. Dr. Jana Walls, hooded by Dr. Megan Burton. Dr. Shishing Lee, hooded by Dr. Cheryl Seals. Dr. Xinxing Li, hooded by Dr. Seals. Dr. Ujan Mukhopadhyay, hooded by Dr. Seals. Dr. Maria Iglesias, hooded by Dr. Soledad Parison. Dr. Karen Custodio Mendoza, hooded by Dr. Michael Aspinwall. Dr. Samira Sherzai, hooded by Dr. Jeff Smith. Dr. Frederick Reynolds, hooded by Dr. Alice Smith. Dr. Amir Mehdidzada, hooded by Dr. Alexander Vanel. Dr. Mingyang Chi, hooded by Dr. Bruce Tartichuk. Dr. Jungmin Kim, hooded by Dr. Elizabeth Lipke. Dr. Mingtao Ho, hooded by Dr. Yaki Zhang. David Tidwell. Roger. Dr. David Tidwell, hooded by Dr. Chris Roger. Dr. Robson Leo Pachali, headed by Dr. Vaskin Melchos. Dr. Jessica Krewall, headed by Dr. Doug Goodwin. Dr. Nirab Saha, headed by Dr. Bradley Murner. Dr. Noor M.D. Shara Khan, headed by Dr. Evangelos Milordos. Dr. Nicole Truitt, headed by Dr. James Whitty. Dr. Taylor Willits, headed by Dr. Anna Frankel-Watkins. Dr. Brittany Griffin, headed by Dr. George Flowers.
Please. The next line was, please join me in congratulating these new doctoral graduates, but y'all already knew what to do. So let's do it one more time. Congratulations. One final item of business. As you leave today, please be aware of the threat of severe weather this afternoon. Please monitor the weather, especially if you are traveling toward the north. So we urge you to be careful if you're traveling toward the north. This concludes the program for our graduate school. Congratulations to all of our doctoral graduates. We wish you the best, and War Eagle, please stand and remain standing for the exit of the platform party. Congratulations to each of you. Very proud of you.